So you're addicted to people who don't even want you. Let's talk about why. I'm going to hurt your feelings with this video a little bit, but not more than they've been hurt by the person that you've been chasing for months who doesn't want you back. We're gonna cover 4 main things in this video. The first one is why you're literally addicted to people who don't want you. And yes, believe it or not, it is an addiction. The second is the root cause conditioning of why and how this happens so you can finally stop it and change it. The third thing is all of the signs to look out for moving forward when you're in recovery, hashtag situationship recovery. And the fourth is how you can truly break free from this cycle for good, once and for all, because you honestly deserve to be chosen. You deserve to be with someone who chooses you consistently, day after day. And it's the best feeling in the world, honestly. And I want that for you. My name is Sid Scott, by the way. If you're new here, I help you slow down, heal, and break through. So sit down, let's get into it. So you always fall for emotionally unavailable people. And that's how the situationship starts. And if you don't know, just look at your relationships over the last few years. Look at your last few crushes. Or maybe you've been in a relationship with someone long-term already, but for some reason, they just seem to be allergic to consistency and commitment, like real commitment. Now, over the years, you've made every single excuse for them. They're just busy. They're just healing. They're just not quite ready. And you're, doing all of the psychoanalysis trying to figure out how it is that you're going to be able to get them to commit. But then the irony, the difficult thing with all of this is when there is someone who would choose you consistently, you tell yourself that they're just too much or that they're boring. And that is actually part of the addiction. If you haven't found the one yet, or you've been stuck attracting situationships, or you've been in them repeatedly, it's not that you're unlucky. It's not that you're broken or that something's wrong with you. I mean, in all actuality, you've been consistent in your habits and your choices. And that's what's really going on here. You're simply addicted to people that don't choose you, to people who are emotionally unavailable. An addiction is when you keep going back to something that you know hurts you, but the temporary high feels worth it. And it's quite impossible, or at least really difficult, to stop without some sort of significant intervention and recovery process. Now, your drug of choice in this situation, in situationships, is the high of emotionally unavailable people giving you breadcrumbs and stringing you on to potential. It might be that text after several days of being left on read or ignored. It could be that high of them saying, "I love you," when they've been emotionally distant for a few days. It could be them finally opening up a little bit about their feelings when you've been wanting emotional intimacy. But even that opening up about their feelings is just them trying to manipulate you by being transparent and telling you something specific, but it's all just to manipulate you. It's not true emotional intimacy, but that might be a video for another time. Or maybe you have that really great weekend with awesome, passionate sex that makes you forget months of red flags and neglect. You're in these situationships that really are cosplaying as real relationships, and you got to get out. You're not even in love with these people. If we're both being honest, you're not in love with them. You don't love them. You're in love with the challenge. You're in love with the chase. You're in love with the potential. And the crazy thing is if they did really and truly choose you, you're finally, but instead you just get rejection disguised as hope. And when they keep just feeding you breadcrumbs and you keep going after those breadcrumbs, it's honestly one of the most harmful things that you could keep doing to yourself. So why do you do this? Let's talk about that. In childhood, you may have learned that love is something that you have to prove yourself worthy of, something that you have to perform in order to get love, affection, attention. These are things that require a performance, and instead of being something that you're just worthy and deserving of, point. This conditions your nervous system to essentially pair passion and chaos together. So that's what becomes normal. That's what becomes safe. And that's kind of the unconscious expectation that you're simply wired for. Passion and chaos have to go together. And the sad part about this, as you know, as you get older, this really messes with your self-worth over time. You start to believe on some level that you don't really consistent love and attention and affection, and you're not really worthy of those things as a baseline just for being who you are. And eventually what happens over time is you end up afraid of the kind of intimacy that you really say that you want, because that would require someone to actually see all of you. That would confront the belief, the deep-seated belief you've been having that you're not really worthy as you are. When you get conditioned to believe that love is something that you earn, you kind of become emotionally unavailable yourself. No one showed you what emotional availability actually looked like. You just had to perform and survive. And so now you're attracted to people that lived through the same, who are the same. And you may be aware of this and you may not be, but hopefully this is increasing your awareness a little bit. Now, once you're like fully addicted to people who don't choose you, you kind of become what I call a situationship specialist. You might be a situationship specialist if you live for those 2 a.m. texts that simply say, hey. You're an excuse factory who's always justifying to your friends and family this person's bad behavior. You're always living in the future and not the reality. And this is partially because they're always painting some future fantasy for you, but their actions don't line up with those promises. Their actions don't line up with those words that they keep giving you, but you stay stuck living in that future fantasy versus the reality, paying attention to their actions in the present moment. And the crazy thing is, if their actions did match their words and there was that true congruence and consistency, it would probably turn you off. Someone being that truly interested in you feels off. It feels boring. And that type of peace isn't something that you're really ready for or even seems appealing when you're addicted to people that don't want you. It feels better to have a maybe from somebody than an absolute yes. So ultimately, all your relationships live in these shady gray areas. So wrapping this video up, let's talk about how to break this cycle if you're truly interested in that. But you're only really ready to break this situationship cycle if you're really ready to be seen and wanted as you are. You're only ready if you're tired of trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And it is kind of scary. Like love is, it's kind of a scary thing where you have to really let your guard down and let someone see you for who you really are. But if you choose to break this cycle, I'm here to tell you there is someone that will love you consistently. But you have to break this cycle. You have to break this pattern. You have to really understand and recognize that this is a situation that you've been choosing. So I'm gonna lay out 4 things to keep in mind to help you break free from the situationship cycle and break free from being addicted to choosing and chasing people who don't want you back. The first thing is you have to get comfortable with what is going to feel like boring at first, because at first healthy, consistent love is going to register as that. It's going to register as boring. And when that consistency shows up and it feels boring and it feels uneventful, this is a good sign that you're in situationship recovery. Now, the second thing that you have to do is you have to practice being available for yourself, showing up consistently for yourself. There might be 1, 2, 3 things that you've been saying you want to do more of, or that you've been saying that you want to stop doing, but you haven't been consistent in it. Maybe that's because you've been giving so much energy to that chase of that person who doesn't want you, and they're in and out of your life, so you're in and out of your own habits. But you have to really practice getting consistent for yourself and being available to yourself. And another piece of this is taking up journaling or voice note or journal, doing some sort of practice that allows you to just be really raw, open, and real, say and express the things that aren't for anyone else to hear or see, but yourself. And that's how you really get that emotional intimacy with yourself. so that you can share that with another person one day. The third thing is a simple one. You got to start giving people honest chances. You can't just write someone off as boring right away after the first date. Give yourself at least 3 opportunities to spend time with someone before you write them off as boring. And the last thing is to get into some form of therapy or some form of coaching so that you can really begin to address some of these root causes that we talked about that caused you to be addicted to situationships and now have rewired your nervous system to essentially prefer and choose things that aren't healthy, that, prefers that you choose people who can't choose you back, who can't give you what you want to give them. Once you get into this therapy and this healing work, and once you start showing up for yourself more consistently, you can truly become an aligned match for the type of relationship that you want. Now, the thing is, at this point, you actually may have friend zoned the person who really was a good fit for you, or they may have friend zoned you, because the thing is, emotionally available people can smell, they can sense when you're not available. So don't run the next time someone shows consistent interest in you. You are so much better than being addicted to the people that don't want you back, that don't choose you. You deserve more. You deserve better. And if you'd like some help recovering from the situationships that you've been in, and the habits and the mindsets and the nervous system programming that has you choosing people who don't want you, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Thanks for watching another video. I'll see you in the next one.